When it comes to growing your SaaS business, there's the traditional B2B marketing, and then there's account-based marketing. B2B companies that actually do account-based marketing tend to have higher win rates, tend to have larger deal sizes, they tend to grow faster. But when it comes to ABM, it can be really complicated, really fast, for no good reason. So having practiced ABM for years in multiple companies, I'm gonna walk you through the core principles that you need to know to set up your ABM machine. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS businesses faster, navigate the path to the next stage of growth faster with an unstoppable strategy. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. If you're part of my SaaS go-to-market coaching program, if you're part of this growing community, welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. So I remember when ToutApp got acquired by Marketo, right at that time, ABM became all that rage. It started to hit that mainstream, and everyone was talking about it. Marketo itself had its own ABM platform that they were talking about. Engagio was getting started. Terminus was going strong. So there was just so many of these companies talking about ABM, account-based marketing. But the funny thing was, when it came to the people inside of ToutApp and the people inside of Marketo, they had been practicing account-based marketing for a lot longer. So it wasn't that new to us. So it's kind of funny to see the rage. And even today, ABM is more the rage than ever before. And the problem with that, on one hand, it's a competitive advantage and you can do a lot better when you do practice ABM. On the other hand, people overcomplicate it. They make it way more complicated than it ever needs to be. So in this episode, knowing everything that I know about ABM and having practiced it in multiple companies, ToutApp and Marketo, I'm gonna walk you through the exact steps you need to follow, the key principles that you need to know to set up your ABM machine so that you get that competitive advantage in the market and grow faster. So if you're excited to dig into the principles and the steps, go ahead and smash that like button and let's go to principle number one. So let me just explain to you what the difference is between traditional B2B marketing and ABM, account-based marketing. And this is the simplest way that I can put it for you. ABM is actually going after the accounts we want as customers instead of traditional B2B marketing where we're just kind of waiting around for a particular role type to raise their hand and say, hey, I may want to buy from you, and then talking to them. So on one hand, you have the traditional demand generation where you put out the content, you run the lead magnets, and you run the ads, and you just hope that it's the right fit people that actually raise their hand. Instead, ABM is saying, you know what? We know who we want our customers to be. Like, let's go actually define that, and let's go after those people and engage with those people, and let's prioritize the people that are coming in through the demand gen activities so that we focus on the accounts that actually matter. So that's the core principle. That's what you really need to know. Anyone else that tries to make ABM more complicated than that is probably trying to sell you some software. That's probably what it is. So with that out of the way, how do you actually go about setting up your ABM machine? Like, what are the principles and steps that you actually need to follow? Well, the first thing you need to do is actually define your ideal account profile. Now, if you are a regular viewer of this channel, this is why I constantly talk about ICP, ideal customer profile. Now, when it comes to practicing ABM, you're essentially creating your ideal customer profile, but also looking at it through the lens of actual accounts. When you're part of my go-to-market program, I actually walk all the founders that I work with to actually define their dream 100 accounts and actually define their ICP with the eye towards creating an ideal account profile. So this is something that we talk about all the time on this channel. So when you're doing step one in ABM, if you've been following everything that I say, you're probably half practicing ABM already. So what's super important is to actually create this view of like, okay, who are the ideal customers, accounts that would be a great fit for our platform? That's literally step number one. And you've probably already done it if you've been part of this channel for a while. The second step that you need to do is actually start to say, okay, how do we get proactive around this ICP, right? Instead of just running a bunch of ads, instead of just running a Broadway show that's primarily inbound, how do we actually say, all right, who are exactly these people that would be perfect for us and would be perfect on the platform? This is step number two of ABM, where you actually build out your dream 100 accounts. 100 is a good number. If you want to do 50, that's fine. If you want to do 10 because you do $1 million deals, that's fine. If you want to do 1,000, I would push you a little bit and say maybe that's too broad. I would get specific. Literally, like, take the revenue you're at right now what's the revenue you want to get to, and literally take your average deal size and look at how many deals you need to do to get there. That should be the size of your dream 100, maybe twice that, because your win rates are going to be 20 to 50%. So what you want to do is essentially build out a full list of these accounts that you want to be going after. And you don't want to just stop at accounts. You also want to target 3 to 5 contacts that are in those accounts. Meaning, let's just say you primarily sell to the VP of marketing. Well, for these target accounts that are the perfect fit for you, you should have the VP of marketing, maybe a couple of directors of marketing, and the CEO, and if they have a CMO, and maybe include the CRO or the VP of sales as well. That way you can actually attack that account fully. This will come in more handy later. I'll explain why in step number 3. So step number 2 is you build out your dream 100 list and actually flesh out who are the people, what are their titles, what's their contact info, what's their LinkedIn, what's their email, what's their phone number. Actually map all that out. This is one of the fundamental differences in an ABM practice, where you're not just saying, well, here's the persona, which is kind of an abstract view. You're saying, here's the literal accounts we're going to go after. You're not just saying, well, let's just run some ads and hopefully some of these people will raise their hand. You're going to say, okay, let's actually go after these accounts. That's the fundamental difference. So now, before I go into step number 3, where all this comes together, let me just pause here for a second. Number 1, ABM does not have to be complicated. Number 2, you don't need to buy a lot of tech to make ABM work for you. Number 3, ABM is friggin' awesome. So if you are not embracing it, you should absolutely embrace it. If you're starting to see the power in this, can I just get a yes in the chat below, in the comments below, or just put ABM in the comments? That's cool too. And also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, because it really likes it when you smash that like button. So does my team, so do I, because we put a lot of love into these videos. So hopefully you're getting value. So please smash that like button and put yes in the comments below. Also, if you are at that stage where you're like, you know what, we need to embrace this ABM discipline, we need to build out the machine, and you actually want a step-by-step process to follow, then I invite you to check out my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Inside of that program, I'll walk you step-by-step on actually building out this ABM machine based on my years of experience, so that you don't actually have execution risk, you can actually focus on what matters. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video. Let's go to principle number 3. This is where it all comes together. This is the super important one. So remember, ABM, the fundamental difference is we're actually going after the accounts, right? So step 1 and 2 was really about who are our accounts? What are the perfect accounts? What is our dream 100 accounts that we absolutely need to have, right? Step number 3 is where it all comes together. Step number 3 is where you engage, right? You actually engage with these accounts. And there's 3 specific ways you do this. This is what makes it different between just demand generation. Demand generation is like, well, how do we put out a net and how do we attract people, right? With ABM, the reason it's super powerful, it's kind of a misnomer calling it account-based marketing, is because it's also account-based selling. What you're also doing is you're bringing together the sales team and the marketing team to work together to go after these accounts. And this is where the engagement part is super important. Once you have this list, you'll want to get sales and marketing aligned on it and say, this is what's super important for us. These are going to be our next 100 customers. Let's go get them. And so once you do that, then there's essentially 3 things you want to be doing to engage. The first thing you're going to be doing is you're actually going to be spinning up an outbound machine to engage with these accounts in a meaningful way. You'll be sending them your manifesto. If you don't know what a manifesto is, check out this video. It's called my Unstoppable Sales Funnel Framework, where I talk about what a manifesto is. I'll link to it below. You don't have to go right now. You actually want to set up outbound where you're emailing them or FedExing them. Not joking, FedEx is probably the most, it has a 99% open rate, right? So you're sending them something either through email or through FedEx to actually engage with these accounts. So that's step number 1. And the second thing you're going to be doing, and usually with outbound, it's usually run by the SDR team, or if you're super early, then the founder themselves or the VP of sales. But this is truly sales and marketing partnership here. So outbound comes first. The second thing that comes is you want to run ads, right? And the ads should be primarily around air cover. Ads for air cover, meaning you should put out your manifesto, you should run ads on the manifesto so that these same people, but you want to target them. You want to target these accounts specifically, as tightly as possible. And when you do that, what will end up happening is when they're receiving your emails or receiving the FedEx, they'll also be like, oh wow, I think I saw them online. Like, this company is everywhere. And it starts to have this halo effect, which is one of the powers of ABM. And then the third thing you want to be doing is you want to be signing up for intent data. Intent data, there's some companies out there that do this where you can tell them, here are the accounts, here's our target accounts, and they'll tell you out of all those accounts, who's in the market right now, who's literally interested in buying your type of software right now or expressing interest. And that way you can move them up to the top of the list and engage them in a slightly different way, knowing that they have shown intent. So these are essentially the 3 ways you should be engaging to mobilize your account-based marketing and sales plan. Number 1, sending out outbound email or FedEx or both, running ads for air cover, and also utilizing intent data to actually move people up on the list. By the way, intent data can come from external sources, like they could be going to publication websites, and there's some providers that give you this, or it can also be coming from your own website. There's some ways to actually measure and look for when a particular company is coming to your website or multiple people are coming to your website, and that's a form of intent as well. So to recap, that's all you need to actually spin up your ABM machine. ABM, what's the fundamental difference? You're going after the accounts that you want as customers instead of waiting for them to discover you. Number 1, build out your ICP. Number 2, flesh that out into your Dream 100 accounts plus contacts, so you actually have a target list to go after. And number 3, engage. First through outbound email, then FedEx if you can afford it, if your deal size can afford it, ads to target those accounts, and then also utilizing intent data to prioritize those accounts as they start to become aware of you guys in the market, and then you can actually engage them in a deeper way. That's your ABM strategy in simple steps that you can get started on. Now, if you're in this stage where you're building out your ABM machine, your account-based marketing machine, then chances are you're at that stage where you're figuring out your broader go-to-market machine. This is why I created my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Inside of this program, I work with you step by step to actually build out your scalable go-to-market machine. ABM being one of the more important strategies that we have in the program as well. We go into the details of how to build out your manifesto, which is your strategic narrative, how to build out your ideal customer profile, and then also how to actually run your Broadway show, which are some of these engagement strategies that I highlighted. So if you want the step-by-step framework to follow to actually build out this ABM machine, then I invite you to check out my SaaS go-to-market coaching program and join us. You can get more details around the program by going to tkkader.com/GTM. tkkader.com/GTM. You can also, I'll link to it below as well. And inside of that page, you'll get more details about how the program works, how I work with you, and you'll have a little form that you can fill out to actually apply to join. We have it as application only because we want to make sure we're working with clients that we can actually help, right? And so when you apply to join, we'll get on a phone call, we'll diagnose where you are in terms of your go-to-market machine and your SaaS business. And then from there, if it's a good fit, then I'll give you all the details on the program. We can start working together. So go to tkkader.com/GTM. We'll actually help you implement your account-based marketing machine, your overall scalable go-to-market machine, so you can actually get to the next stage of growth 10 times faster. Now, if you got value from this video, be sure to smash that like button if you haven't already. It just means the world to us. Also, be sure to comment below. Let us know what you thought. Let us know how you're building out your ABM strategy. If you have questions, put them down below as well. If you have a fellow SaaS founder or team member that will get value from this, please share this video. We put a lot of love into these videos, and we want to share them with as many founders as possible to help them grow as quickly as possible. I do a video like this about 2 to 3 times a week. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. That pretty much wraps it up. And go check out the SaaS go-to-market coaching program if you want a quicker path to actually implementing all of this. We can work together to do that based on all of my experience. Lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode.